Hey guys, it's Lizzie. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We're going to do a Q&A. I know usually I come into my videos with big topics that we talk about, but I couldn't think of anything to do today. I've been very absorbed with work and editing videos. The past 3 videos have taken me 40 hours to research, maybe more. So it's been a pretty intensive thing. I feel like when I first was becoming Catholic, I spent so much time just researching and reading and reading and reading, and I was kind of addicted to the process. And eventually I got to the point where it wasn't as exciting. Not that I ever stopped researching or stopped reading, but there was this honeymoon period of researching, and I feel like I'm back there now with my passion for reading and researching. And so the past 3 videos have taken 40 hours to research and read and read and read, and then also editing time. So I feel I have been uploading once a week instead of 2 or 3 times a week. So I hope you guys don't mind, because I really enjoyed getting to really dive deeper into topics. So hi 717 Saddam. Hi Alberto, hi Fatima, hi Elizabeth. Oh my gosh, my freaking tripod always falls down. Hi Mariah, hi Vincent. Do you miss the mass? Yeah, I've literally been not in depression, not a full out depression episode, but it's been kind of for the first time in a while, I've been having days where I'm kind of depressed. And I literally think it's because we're not able to be at mass, and that really affects my mood a lot. And I'm not saying oh, receiving the Eucharist gets rid of depression or anything, but I think it really does affect my mood a lot. And also I haven't been going outside or going around in public transport or walking around as much, and I think that as well really affects your mental health. So for the first time this week, I've been going outside. For the first time this week, I've been going outside and going on walks, and it's actually made me feel a lot better. So did you pray the 7 Sorrows rosary today? I don't know if it's a Holy Tuesday thing, but I'm doing it. So the Sorrowful Mysteries are every Tuesday and Thursday. It's not just during Holy Week, but it's always. It's so depressing staying inside all day. Yeah, I think even for people who are not don't have a mental illness, it still really affects you a lot. Who is your favorite saint? So my patron saint is named Irenaeus of Lyon. Which is a city in France, but he's originally from Asia and then moved there to be a bishop. So the reason he's my favorite saint is because he was living in the 2nd century, and he was taught by a guy named Polycarp, who was taught by the actual apostle John. And so when I was converting into Catholicism, I read his writings talking about Mary, talking about the Pope, talking about the real presence of the Eucharist, and his writings were in line with the current Catholic Church. Okay, we're gonna end up going like this, I think. So we're gonna use Upon This Rock by Stephen Ray, and Irenaeus of Lyon, Identifying Christianity by John Beer. So those are going to be our books to hold up the camera today. Does that even work? It doesn't even work. How annoying is that? Sorry, you guys, this always happens. I don't know. I just have been using this tripod for 2 years. And then when it suddenly stops working, it's I can't even believe that it doesn't work anymore. Anyways, so we're gonna use my Bible again like we did the last live stream. Anyways, so if I seem kind of off or not as happy, it's just because I do kind of feel depressed not getting to go outside and not getting to go to mass and all of that. So it really affects your mood a lot. How much does a tripod cost? So tripods can be anything from $20 to $300 if it's a really good tripod and made of metal. But this is literally just a tripod for my phone. And you can actually, it's like a selfie stick basically, but then it also stands up and it's a tripod. So it has a part of it I'll show you guys. This thing right here, it goes up let me see if it's like a little USB stick. Like, can you see it? Yeah, so that plugs in and then you can turn it on and you can have your phone like over here and then you can be taking selfies with it. So whenever I do photo shoots with Trevor, I don't really like other people being around. I mean, obviously we're gonna probably do like actual photo shoots if like engagement or something. But when we're just like doing photo shoots, we do them all by ourselves, but we have this like giant like length of a tripod, and so then you can like hold it up and just click the button and get photos that actually look like someone took them. So that's kind of like what the deal is. Okay. So that's that. I have to be considering doing a consecration, but I'm not Catholic yet. Is it okay if I do it? Should I wait for a certain date to start? Do you mean like consecration to Mary? I honestly know nothing about that, which is surprising, but I don't really have a mentor in my life. Like, I don't have like a spiritual director or like a mentor. I don't know. I should ask people at my parish, but people at my parish don't talk about Marian consecration. So I don't know what the deal is with Marian consecration. But, yeah. Hey, I have a question that I hope that you could really answer. Okay, say the question. Taylor Marshall could be your mentor. Don't let the photographer take up the entire time during the wedding. That's why, okay, so for weddings, I'm really pro doing photo shoots of the whole like bridal team beforehand and not after, and doing like the first look photo. But Trevor said he's actually like against that and wants the first look to be during the ceremony, and I'm like really against that because I don't think you should be wasting the guest's time by doing like so many photos in between the wedding ceremony and the other part. So that's somewhere where we really disagree on things. It would be awesome to see more videos about you explaining Catholic dogmas. When are you going to upload the video about the papacy? Tomorrow night. So I'm going to upload it tonight, and it's going to be, I have made, the past 3 videos have been all about Catholic dogmas. I made a video about purgatory, and then the video before was about the salvation of non-Catholics. That's what I was talking about at the beginning, how I've been spending like 40, 50 hours writing video scripts, which is like way more than I usually do. So I've been really diving into different theology. So what other dogmas do you want me to talk about? Oh my gosh, I also have a video started on Mary. Oh, I should do that. On Mary being sinless. Is that the divine mercy? Yes, it is. Thanks so much for your hard work. Oh, thank you. They opened our church for 2 hours a day for confession. I haven't gone. I'm high risk. In some churches, they made you like confess by doing a church drive-through because of quarantine. Yeah, I read about that. It's weird. A husband would submit to his wife on that matter. Are you talking about the wedding thing? How are you doing confession in quarantine? Do Catholics confess face-to-face or behind a screen? Both. So every single confessional has an option to do behind a screen or to do like sitting down. Actually, maybe not every confessional, maybe some of them only have behind a screen, but from everything that I've seen, it's like, it's both and it's an optional thing. So, yeah. You just do regular confession and there's like hand sanitizer there. Sorry, I kind of like forgot what I was saying. In some churches, oh, we already read that comment. Let's go up. Don't let the, oh, we already read that. Have you baked anything lately during the quarantine? It can be super therapeutic for me. Yes. Oh my gosh, for me too. By the way, I have my palm branches. That was in the thumbnail of the video I wanted to show you guys. During Palm Sunday, there was like a table outside my parish and you could like go get palms. So palm trees. So it was pretty cool. Baking. Yes, I recently made cookies with almond butter, chocolate chip cookies with almond butter, and it was so good. Instead of like oil or almond milk or anything, I just had the almond butter as like the base of it. So it was so good. I used whole wheat flour and flaxseed and chocolate chips and almond butter. So yeah, it was so good. My brother identifies as a Catholic and a witch, and it scares me. Yeah, those are totally incompatible. Yeah, I don't understand that theology. I'm not looking forward to being quarantined for my birthday, Vince says. That's really sad. What are your thoughts on Oriental Orthodoxy? So I actually thought that I might become part of one of those churches when I was researching in. But a lot of people don't even realize this, but at the Council of Ephesus, it's called the Council of Robbers. There was like apparently, like allegedly, physical fights going on, and everyone like got through like physical force, got people to sign into like theology, something that was false. And so the Pope wasn't there at the time. So when he found out, he got so angry and they had to redo the council. So anyways, after that, the 6 Oriental Orthodox churches left. So they are the Coptic, Ethiopian, Eritrean, Syriac, two more. Anyways, there's 6 churches that split off, and they have some interesting Christology views that are kind of different from the main church. But obviously they have the real presence of the Eucharist and everything. So thank you for the donation. Lizzie, can we talk later? Yeah, DM me. Like I said, I've been kind of in depression, so I'm not very social currently. So I have to go to the dentist Thursday because of mouth pain. I'm a little nervous with the virus. Yeah, I would be so nervous too. What do you think of drive-in confession and mass being offered by the SSPX and most diocesan priests? So I think that you shouldn't, in like a health crisis, be going against the bishops, be going against the government. It just seems like a horrible idea. And I know it's heartbreaking that we're not able to do mass, but I think that especially priests are really, really old and could easily die of coronavirus. So if you love your priest, you should be willing to separate from the Eucharist for this period of time to save people's lives. And like if you love people at your parish as well. So how have you been? Have you been in a traditional Latin mass? Yes. When I was converting into Catholicism, I went to Latin mass for 5 months before RCIA, but I like Novus Ordo mass better. What are your views on gay marriage and the trans movement? So when I was Protestant, so my church growing up was like against gay marriage, and the whole trans issue and people being like talking about gender dysphoria a lot wasn't really a thing at the time. But when I got to college, I remember we had I should probably make a whole video about this, but here we are in a video talking about this. So my church was against gay marriage and said that it was a sin and it was pretty serious. I remember like my sister at the time got like kind of mad with how our youth group was talking about it, and it was like pretty awful. I don't remember it being that awful. Maybe it was like I was in the middle school class and the high school class was really bad. I don't know. But she has a memory where it was pretty bad. But then my freshman year of college, I was in a social justice class, and part of our social justice unit, we had one on homosexuality. So we watched a movie called The Bible Tells Me So. I think that's what it's called. So it's like a documentary talking about how harmed the church has been towards people who are gay. And then we had a panel of my like classmates of Pepperdine students, which is where I went to college. And they were talking about their experiences growing up as gay and Christian, and how some had been like kicked out of their school, or like their parents had like kicked them out of the house, like horrible things, and they like didn't feel loved by God for a long time. And I cried, and I was thinking, like, if I was gay, would my parents reject me? Would I not be allowed at my church? It was just all these thoughts were going through my head. So at that moment, I remember like going to a field in my school, it's called Alumni Park, and like sobbing and crying and being like, God, I'm so sorry. Am I wrong on this? And I thought of other issues, like the Bible has used slavery Christians have used the Bible to justify slavery and justify like the subjugation of women and justify women. Like at my church growing up, women weren't allowed to serve or teach men if men were in the classes, and they weren't allowed to lead worship or preach or lead prayers. And that was because of misinterpreting Bible verses. So I was like, what if it's the same with homosexuality, where we've been misinterpreting the Bible just like how we did with slavery and with women's roles? And so, hey guys, with the moderators, please don't be blocking people who don't need to be blocked. You guys know I've said in so many videos, the only reason we block people is if someone is being sexist or racist or homophobic, or if they're being cursing. That's it. Like, nothing else. So, yeah, anyway, so I remember asking God and being like, I'm so sorry, and knowing that, like, in the future, I probably would be hated for my views on this, which is what happened. So then, my junior year of college, I was in a theology class, and we were talking about the view of homosexuality in the Bible, and how the word porneia, which is translated as homosexuality, has to do with something in their society at the time. There would be an apprenticeship, and the older man would be raping a younger boy. They would be having sex, not consensual, in exchange for the younger boy to learn a trade. It's called pederasty, and it was something happening in the ancient world. And so Paul and even the church fathers, actually, when they're talking about it, they're talking about pederasty. And so I remember thinking, oh, like, this is not about homosexuality. Like, the Bible doesn't talk about what we're dealing with today, which is true. It literally isn't. Like, gay marriage wasn't a thing back then. They didn't even think in terms of, like, a consensual, lifelong relationship. So at that point, I was Protestant. I was going by the Bible, and I was like, the Bible doesn't condemn it. And I made videos talking about it. And so when I became Catholic, obviously I had to change my view on this. And it was heartbreaking, so heartbreaking, because I made videos talking about how homosexuality is not a sin, and sharing these, like, Greek etymology, cultural context at the time, like, theology rich arguments about this. I wasn't just being, like, emotionally affected by that experience my freshman year of college, but it was like my junior year in a religion class that had changed my mind on it. I was kind of, like, agnostic about my view on it up until then. So when I became Catholic, what really changed for me is understanding that sex is always unitive and procreative. And the reason that it's so not obvious in Protestantism that sex should only be between a man and a woman is because people use birth control. And so when you use birth control, sex, and this is another reason why people have premarital sex so much in, like, Protestant circles and even in Catholic circles when people don't know the church's teaching. But sex, if sex is supposed to be procreative, like, every act has to be open to it, then that excludes gay relationships. And that's heartbreaking. Like, it was so heartbreaking. It was the last thing I accepted. That was, like, intertwined with the birth control teaching. And I was like, no, I can't turn my back on all my subscribers who I love. Like, people have sent me these heartbreaking messages about not feeling loved by God and feeling like being kicked out of their churches and kicked out of their families, and people stop being friends with them when they come out. And I was like, I can't suddenly take myself away from those groups of people and be against them. And I think that people put it in very black and white terms. They say that if you are against gay marriage, then you hate gay people and you're not loving and you're not accepting. And I think that there's an in-between, and that's what the Catholic Church affirm, that love is beautiful. But you can also say that God created sex objectively, biologically, to be procreative. And so it's a hard teaching. Like, it's so hard. Okay, here we are. We're back. Some people left. I'm sorry, you guys. The Wi-Fi is so bad. Okay, so I'm gonna move my camera over here. So I realized that I still am kind of like this beacon of light to a lot of the LGBTQ community, just because I think that there's some Christians and Catholics who say that people are not born gay, people are not born with gender dysphoria, and I'm someone who actually affirms people and it's like, yes, you are born like that. You're born with gender dysphoria. People are born gay. It's a genetic thing. And a lot of people who are choosing to be Catholic and choosing to be celibate have found my videos talking about these things and found great comfort that I can affirm that people are born with these things, that they're not making it up, and that it's a cross. It's really, really hard. It's like, I have to live with bipolar disorder my entire life, and I hate it and have like asked God to take it away so many times. And so I think people who are not able to get married and not able to have sex, it's like a cross. It's horrible that you have to live like that. And I think a lot of people, like, they cherish and they desire so strongly to have children. And so it's, like I said, it's heartbreaking. And I mean, for me, it's painful to accept. So I can't imagine someone who is gay and they desire to have a family and they desire to have children. Like, I have extreme compassion for people in those situations. So that's kind of my journey when it comes to this. So, yes, it was really hard to change my position on this. It was really hard to talk about it. I mean, I've received hate for having both views. Like, people would make death threats and like curse me out and be like, I hope you go to hell, when I was making my why it's not a sin video. And now people also send hate with my current view. But I want to be really clear that the Catholic position on homosexuality and on gender dysphoria, it's a middle position. There's a middle ground where you don't have to kick people out of the house, you don't have to hate people, you don't have to cut people off when they come out to you, but you can also uphold traditional sexual ethics. And so you can have both. I think it's put in very black and white terms where people say that if you're against gay marriage, then that automatically means people are suicidal. And I think that there's an in-between where a lot of people are. Like, there's a lot of gay Catholics who are willing to talk about these things and who are open to being celibate. And yeah, I mean, celibacy is uplifted in the church as this like beautiful, freeing thing. Like, I really like how all the religious leaders who are teaching this are all celibate. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like a pastor who's married and has sex all the time and uses birth control. They have sex all the time, being like, you can't get married, you can never have sex. It's people who like never have sex who are saying these things. So I do appreciate that. I feel like it's better than it could be. So, Lizzie, can you pray for my sponsor? She's having women issues. I don't know what that means. Have you studied canon law? I have not studied canon law. Obviously, I know some parts of it when it comes to like annulments. I've studied that a little bit with understanding it, but no. Wi-Fi has been acting up everywhere because everyone is home. It's been a while since I participated in a live stream. Okay, let's read more comments. Selena Gomez was diagnosed bipolar. Yes, and I was actually shocked how much of a like PC person she is with being bipolar. Like, she hasn't had that many scandals at all. I feel like she's a pretty, like, she comes across as a very like family friendly person. So I was actually like shocked. But obviously she could have had a lot of like serious problems with her friends and family and like things that have happened that are private. So it's not like, oh, it's wrong. Like, obviously she can afford the best doctors. So obviously it's like a real diagnosis and everything. But I was just like honestly surprised because she comes across as so chill. Like, you know what I mean? When you expect bipolar people to be very like energetic and like hyperactive and all of these things. So here we go. We're back at it. Okay. What can you say about the 4 dogmas of Mary and the other one that is not yet released? It is not yet released because the Vatican is still studying it. So that they're talking about Mary being the mediatrix. Mediatrix, however you pronounce that. That's what the 5th one they're talking about. But I've made videos on all the Marian dogmas except the Sinlessness of Mary, which I have a video script that I have not finished yet. But yeah, I've made videos talking about all the Marian dogmas, about why we call her Queen of Heaven. So definitely watch the videos. You still honor saints, but do not worship them. I am so opposite with bipolar. I'm always tired. I think she struggled with substance abuse and, of course, her relationship with Bieber. Hi, Lizzie. I don't know if you remember me DMing you, but I was someone who asked you about being gay and becoming Catholic. Although I won't convert, I did buy a book from your Amazon shop. Which book was it? Catholics do not worship the Virgin Mary. Yes, that's true. We do not worship. I'm going to try to move my... my whole like thing. I have like a box on here. It almost just like fell over completely. Okay, we're gonna see if this works so I can like sit down and not be like oh, period issue. Oh, okay. Okay, we're talking about how Catholics don't worship saints. Love your channel, subbed. Thank you, and thank you for being here during the live stream. What is your reaction to Dr. Taylor Marshall Pacamama debacle? So I was shocked. If you guys didn't know, there was a guy named Alexander who threw the Pacamama statue in the Tiber River, and he was interviewed on Taylor Marshall's channel, but recently Taylor Marshall came out and said that he was part of the plot to throw it in the river, and that he paid for the plane ticket of Alexander, and he wanted to be there to physically do it, but he couldn't because there was some like famous cardinal visiting his parish who he wanted to be there for. So I was shocked, and like a lot of people were like, oh, you're lying to not like come out about this earlier and make it seem like you weren't a part of it. So anyways, I don't think he was lying. I'm not like, you're an unethical person. Like, obviously this is not like my reaction to anyone ever. But my actual reaction to the situation, I thought it was disrespectful to church authority and to anyone living in the Amazon, just because, and I talked about this so much when it was happening, Protestants are constantly saying that Catholics worship statues. Like, they're like, you worship the crucifix, you worship Mary, you worship a picture of Jesus. And no, I don't. I'm not worshiping them. And so for them to say, have another statue that looks different than our art because they're from a different culture, and to say they're worshiping that, it's the same thing that Protestants do to us. So why are we doing it to our brothers and sisters in Christ who are Catholic? Why? So it made me so sad. I cried when I saw the video of what happened. I just was like heartbroken for anyone from the Amazon who is not worshiping these statues. So my reaction was crying. But obviously my reaction to finding out Taylor Marshall was part of it, it didn't really change things to me. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, he's lying, he's a horrible person. Like, that wasn't my reaction, if you're wondering. Did you see the news about Cardinal Pell? Yes. So there was a cardinal, this stream is going to definitely get demonetized. So there's a cardinal in Australia who was put in jail for child abuse, for raping children, and yeah, sexual assault, whatever. So not whatever, but yeah. So child abuse. And it turns out that it's wrong, that it was kind of made up just because the way they were explaining the story, that it was like right after mass in the sacristy when it was like this famous cardinal who always have like bodyguards and people with them. So, and they're like, he undid like a zipper, but like when you're wearing vestments, they never ever have zippers, it's a robe. So anyways, there were some details from it that seemed impossible, and so that's why he was like acquitted, and they're like, it never happened to you, even though he was in jail for a couple of years. So that's what happened. And I think this is a good example where, yes, I think that our reaction when we hear that someone has been raped or sexually assaulted, we should immediately think, believe them. That should be like a gut reaction to believe them, but we can't take that too far and say that every time someone makes an allegation, 100% of the time it's right. No, people make up crimes like that at the same rate as other crimes. So there are people who lie. And so I think that just like how I was talking about with homosexuality, how there's a middle way, there's also a middle way where you can believe people when they come out about these things. Like, that should be your gut reaction, to believe people. But you also have to accept that there are people who lie. And in his case, he was wrongly in jail for something that, I mean, hopefully he didn't do. I mean, only God and him and the people involved know what happened. But if it was made up, then that's horrific and evil. And I mean, I think there's a special place in hell for people who wrongly accuse other people of a crime like that and ruin their reputation and put them in jail. So I think that's horrible. If you ever are involved in a crime and you lie in court and someone is in jail, I mean, it happens all the time in the US. There's something called the Innocence Project, which is a nonprofit, and there's so many people wrongly accused of murder in the country. So hey Lizzie, have you ever prayed the rosary? Yes, so many times. I made a whole video where I prayed the rosary every day for a month, and I filmed every single day and recorded it. So go look up that video, Lizzie's Answers, pray the rosary every day. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments I can't even stop. Have you experienced a video session with your psychiatric professional? No, we do phone calls. I have one in the morning and drive-through confession in the afternoon, from the psych professional to the driving confessional. That's cool. Lizzie, why don't you go live on Instagram when you can add your fans and talk to them? So I actually do go live on Instagram quite a bit. I have been going on more because of everyone's home, because of coronavirus. This video is gonna get totally demonetized. So yeah, I do go live quite a bit. I go live on here. I don't know if I go live on here more, but yeah, I go live on Instagram. Sorry guys, I'm kind of in depression right now, so my brain is like not working regularly. So may I ask you what you are diagnosed with? I have bipolar disorder type 1, and I don't have with psychotic features. I have heard voices before, but in depression, like suicidal voices, I haven't. This is gonna get so demonetized. This is like the most demonetizable video. Anyways, but if you just got here, tomorrow I'm going to upload a video talking about the papacy. So I spent so much time on that, and I'm gonna upload it like right after I get out of here. So yeah. Lizzie, do your parents approve of your Catholic faith? No, they totally disapprove of it and disagree with it, and they don't understand why I'm Catholic, and they hate that I'm Catholic. I got the book Upon This Rock. Yay! I hope you enjoy it. It's so good. Hi Lizzie, my friends say 4 rosaries a day plus 1,000 Hail Marys. They kept inviting me to join them, but I declined because I struggle with saying 1 rosary a day. I feel bad for declining. I don't think you should feel bad. I think that 4 rosaries a day, like a lot of people can do it and manage it, and I think it's amazing and draws you closer to God. Like I watched a video called Gabby After Hours talking about it, but I think for some people it doesn't work. I know for me, I pray rosaries really slow. It can take me 40 minutes to an hour and a half to pray a rosary. So I physically cannot pray rosaries 4 times a day. I wouldn't be able to do anything. So I think some people who do the rosary faster are able to get through 4 of them. But I mean, is it possible to spend 4 hours a day praying? Like I know for me that isn't what God wants me to do. He doesn't want me to pray for 4 hours every day. I can be so productive and do so much ministry by writing videos and editing videos and putting them out. So that's why I don't, and say here someone says, I've prayed 15 decades in 30 minutes. So yeah, so some people, and I'm not saying that like my way of praying the rosary is better than anyone else. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying the way I am so edified praying the rosary, I can't pray 4 a day. What is your plan this Good Friday? So I'm going to do a couple live stream masses. I work with college students, and so we're going to try to do Stations of the Cross this week and Bible study. One of my Bible studies is on Friday, and we're trying to do with the priests that we work with. We're trying to do like a live stream, like intimate Zoom session mass. So we'll see if that happens. Well, we don't know, Lizzie. Maybe you will end up praying 4 a day, maybe like a saint. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll end up doing that, but I think I would have to drastically change my relationship with the rosary. I am back. Sorry, we needed another topic. What happened to the Bible studies you were doing on John's Gospel? After coronavirus came over, it kind of like ruined my life and messed up all of my like patterns and what I was doing. So let me know if you want me to continue that, but for now it's canceled. I don't know, because coronavirus made me always forget like what day it is and everything. I will be right back. I need to change into another shirt because this is like so hot. So I'm going to put a t-shirt on instead. What shirt should I wear? I'll wear my pink top, my pink flower top. This is like my favorite shirt. Recently, I've been wearing it all the time. It's so cute. I got it from this boutique in New Haven. I was visiting there a couple summers ago, and I went to the Knights of Columbus Museum, and I met some Knights of Columbus people. It's actually crazy. So my sister's best friend from college, her best friend's brother works at Knights of Columbus, and he's their social media manager. So yeah, when I was going there, I like DM'd them and I was like, can I like do a tour and like meet you guys? So yeah, that's what happens. We should do more live stream Bible studies. Yeah, maybe I should. I want to continue with the Bible study. Okay, maybe I'll do it then. Don't worry, I'm in depression too. Lizzie, when you feel up to it, please do Bible study. Okay, you guys. Everyone wants to do it. Okay, maybe I'll continue when you feel up to it. That's really nice. As a Protestant, did you ever think about Mary suffering the pain of seeing her son dying? No, I never thought of it before. I think we just really didn't focus on Mary, and like we didn't focus on the crucifixion or like celebrate any holidays or anything. So my headphones are on. That's so funny. I think they're like connected to my computer. I think YouTube might be playing on my computer. Let me see. Let me like put this down. Okay, cool. I put it down. I know my outfit's totally not matching at all. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Raul. How are you doing? I'm back again. Oh, guys, thumbs up the video. Like the video. Thumbs up. Okay, we need to like start talking again. People are leaving. Let's look for comments. Do you think the Pope is too liberal? No. He agrees with all church teaching. People think the Pope is liberal. Here's why. It's just Americans, mostly. Because people are Republican. They're part of the Republican Party, and so then they feel like they have to agree with all of it just because it's pro-life, even though you can agree with pro-life and disagree with the economical views or how they don't believe in global warming and don't believe in man-made global warming. So anyways, people get so mad when the Pope talks about other life issues like healthcare and the environment, and they're like, you're not pro-life, you're liberal. And it's like, no, our environment is under attack. And there's so many natural disasters going haywire because of global warming. And because of the way that we factory farm animals is the number one contributor to all of this. So I don't think the Pope is liberal for talking about other life issues besides abortion. Like there's other, like every aspect of human life. Like healthcare, how people are living, how people are eating, wars going on, capital punishment. There's so many different ways that human lives are affected that we have to agree with as Catholics. So no, the Pope is not too liberal. People are just brainwashed by the Republican Party, and it's awful that people who are against abortion and are pro-life hate the idea of focusing on other pro-life issues. Like, you're not pro-life wound too. I'm still here, gonna take beds, gonna start going to bed earlier. Well, I'm happy that I'm live streaming earlier then. Environmentalism ends up deifying the environment and slips into paganism. Absolutely not. I'm vegan, well, because of the animals, because of health, but also because of the environment. I'm so passionate about being vegan and saving so much water and preventing rainforests from being bulldozed to have more room for cows to graze so people can eat such high intake of protein and way too much meat that they die early of heart disease and stroke. and type 2 diabetes. So it's like, no, I'm not worshiping the earth. I'm just realizing that we're literally harming so many animals, like in Australia during the fire. Like, I don't think you guys realize, but all these natural disasters like fires, hurricanes, tornadoes, all of these things are made so much worse because of our environmental problems. And so many people are dying. I don't understand why that's like, you're being brainwashed by the Pope. No, my environmental views have not changed at all since becoming Catholic. They've just been validated. Do you know any good books on defending the resurrection of Christ? Yes, there's a book called The Resurrection of Jesus by N.T. Wright, which I recommend. I think it's the absolute best defense for the resurrection. So check that out. Good morning from the other side of the globe. Vote Trump 2020. How do you feel about the Eucharist? So like I said, I've been kind of in depression lately just because we're not at Mass and not able to receive the Eucharist. So it's really heartbreaking, and I feel like it's a huge part of my faith. My love language is physical touch, so getting to interact with Jesus in that way is really, really special to me. It's like the source and summit of the faith, the Eucharist. Guys, like the video, thumbs up the video. There are 100 people here right now, so thumbs up the video. I'm an atheist who just wants to say hello. Well, you're always welcome here. Hi, Brando. I also recommend watching The Case for Christ. Yes, I was literally thinking that in my head, but I didn't say it because it's not a book. Actually, The Case for Christ is a book. Yeah, read The Case for Christ book. Watch the movie on Netflix, though. It's amazing. I want to watch it again tonight just because it's so good. I actually don't have a Netflix account right now, which is so good because I don't want to get distracted. Catholics believe that the Eucharist is the actual body of Christ. Protestants believe that it's symbolic. Do you think Corona is man-made? No, it's a real illness, but I did hear that because of global warming, it increased the temperature just enough to where it's not going to kill viruses like that. So we're going to see more pandemics coming up, just like the Zika virus, because of our environmental problems. And I don't think, it's just like horrifying, all the fires and tornadoes and hurricanes that are killing so many people and like destroying countries. It's like, wake up! You need to calm down. It's not our place to judge another person's soul. I agree with Pope Francis. What are your thoughts on Pope Authority versus the world having the ultimate authority? I don't know what that means. Is it okay to say the Holy Rosary during Holy Week? Yes, of course. Anglicans aren't really Protestants. They're protesting the Pope. Like, Protestant comes from the word protesting the Pope, so they left the Pope. So early Protestants believed in the real presence of the Eucharist. Yeah, so Lutherans actually do kind of believe in the real presence of the Eucharist. They have like a interesting way of describing it. Lizzie, do you still struggle with any Catholic teaching? No, I don't struggle with any of it. Maybe like emotionally I do, but not like on an intellectual level. There's nothing that I'm like uncertain about. Thank you for your film on purgatory. You did an unbelievable job. Thank you so much. I spent so much time on that video researching. I'm independent. I won't convert to Catholicism because I would be lying at confirmation. I have too hard of a time accepting the teaching on homosexuality. I would be honest to God and with myself. I love and respect so much that you're not going to lie about it, but I encourage you to keep researching the faith and searching into it because I think you might change your mind on that. I was shocked that I could ever change my mind on that teaching because I was so passionate about helping LGBT community and being empathetic and just so many of my subscribers who are dealing with that. And I never, ever, ever expected to change my mind on that. Like, everyone in my life was shocked. My parents were shocked. They like couldn't understand it. So I think that the more you fall in love with the faith and with the Eucharist, you're just going to desire the Eucharist above everything, and it's going to overtake your thinking and your intuitions and your choices. Once you believe in the Eucharist, it changes everything. Do you venerate the Orthodox post-schism saints like Gregory Palamas? So he is a saint in Orthodoxy, but considered a heretic in Catholicism. So I personally haven't done that much research into Orthodox saints post Great Schism, so I'm not in the situation where I like know a saint and am inspired by them or anything. The world, the flesh, and the devil, all three we have to struggle against for our salvation, right, Lizzie? That's Catholic teaching. Have you watched The Passion of the Christ? No. I'm an extremely, extremely emotional person. So I just would like cry and cry and cry and be scarred and have nightmares if I watch The Passion of the Christ. There's something called HSP. Have you guys heard of this? Highly sensitive persons. I made a video about it. And yeah, like 13 signs, you have HSP. So I have that. Like I'm like an empath. So I have that and I'm bipolar. So yeah, it's difficult. Lizzie, did you watch The Two Popes? No. Your bed matches your shirt. I know, and there's flowers. So I love flowers. Oh my gosh, my Instagram feed right now is just like flower shirt, flower dress, flowers, flower pants, more flowers. And I like love the spring ambiance so much. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. I'm gonna try to go live there more since you guys are requesting that. New Hampshire is so warm and the virus is going crazy here. How are you staying productive during isolation? So I actually do YouTube full time. It's my job. It's been my job since high school, but since graduating college, I focused all my attention on it. So I already work from home, so my life really hasn't changed at all. Like I used to go out more, so it feels very like cooped up and I'm kind of getting depressed because of it. But my life really hasn't changed that much. So I'm able to stay productive in the same ways. I mean, I used to not even go to coffee shops that much to work. So, yeah. Do you know anything about Fatima? Would you do a video on apparitions? Also, do you know the secrets of Fatima? Yeah, so the secrets of Fatima have to do with World War I, Pope John Paul II's attempted assassination, and communism, I believe, are the three secrets of Fatima. How do you feel about modern prophets? I don't even know what that means. Just saw a video on Cardinal Pell's release, and the comment section is quite vicious against the Pope. What's your opinion on how the world sees the Catholic hierarchy? I think that a lot of people view it as very sexist and misogynistic that there's Catholic men telling everyone what to do, and it's not really... Yeah, people don't like that it's all male at all. So I think that creates a negative thing. And then, I mean, the sex abuse crisis hasn't helped because objectively a lot of church authority has covered it up. So then that creates trust issues. How would you know your BF was right for you? I think that, I don't know how to answer this question. I guess it's someone who you are interested in. So if you can just listen to them talk for hours and you just want to listen and know more and more and more about them, I think that's really important because the purpose of dating is for marriage. And I'm not saying you need to like date and be like, oh my gosh, are we gonna get married like 2 months in? Like, no, don't talk about marriage soon at all. Wait a couple of years. But ultimately, marriage is really important. So you have to think about someone who you're physically attracted to, who you want to have sex with, and someone who you're intellectually attracted to, where you can talk for hours and hours and hours, and someone who, even when you fight, you are still attracted to them and can stay together and create a peaceful environment for children. So those are my favorite those are my favorite things. Those are my recommendations. What is your favorite apparition of Mary? Our Lady of Lourdes. I think it really stuck out to me because Saint Bernadette, well, her body's incorruptible, first of all, which is really, really cool that she's incorruptible body. And she was really poor and she was sickly her entire life. She was in a lot of pain and she was sick, and she viewed her life vocation as suffering, as a nun. So I just really like that she shows that you can be so close to God and have these amazing experiences, but as one of the most important saints, like, she was in so much pain and so much suffering, and I relate that to my bipolar and how I suffer a lot, and it's just a huge cross in my life. So I love that God shows someone who is so poor and weak and sick as this powerful, amazing saint to work through. And yeah, so that's why I really like that apparition, just because of who Bernadette is. And she was just a young girl, like, she was a peasant. She lived in an old jail that had been converted into a house. Like, what do you think you know? Why do you think you know everything at 26 years old? I'm not 26. I don't know. What? I don't know who that's talking to. Am I being selfish for wanting the church to be open? I truly believe the Eucharist is the greatest force. It's not selfish to want love. Why do you dress like you are at a senior prom at Mass? Is that because I wore my bridesmaid's dress to Mass once? It was cold outside. I wore yoga pants under it. I don't promise you happiness in this world, but only in the next. Our Lady de Bernadette. Lizzie, I'm someone you've blocked in your live streams. If you're able to unblock my account, my Instagram is a town Joshua. I've DM'd you. What happened? I don't know. I don't remember. Let me screenshot this. I actually don't know how to unblock someone, but I can Google it and try to figure it out. How are you celebrating Easter? Alone! I'm gonna try to make some dessert for Easter and, like, a special meal. I'm obviously gonna do, like, a live stream Mass, maybe take a walk. I haven't thought about it that much. Lizzie, what is your thought on God is Great? I know you did a video with her, and I love you both. I love her so much, and I watch a lot of her videos. I really enjoy her content, and I think we agree on a lot of things. She has a wonderful personality, so I really, really love just getting to talk to her and have a conversation. So she's dressing her best because she's going to see Jesus, who is the best. I'll be alone too. What is your favorite title of Mary? That's interesting. I think I really like Our Lady of the Priesthood, just because it shows that, yes, our priesthood and our bishops and our church authority are all men, but Mary is more powerful than anyone else in the church, obviously besides Jesus and God. So it's really cool that even, like, an all-male authority will pray to her and bow to her. So obviously not worship, bowing, but I mean, like, bow to her in, like, an intellectual sense. Is it okay to share your struggles with mental health on social media? My doctor, family, friends say employers might see it and blacklist me if they are ignorant. That's a really real thing. I see it either way. Like, I have friends who have mental illness who I've, like, said, would you want to be on my YouTube channel to talk about it, who are in my videos, like, friends and stuff, and they're like, you know what, I would never talk about that because I do not want someone to research and then find out about it and not hire me. So some of the people I respect the most have made that decision. So it's interesting. I don't know. I think I don't know. Like, if I was looking for a professional job, I probably wouldn't talk about it, to be honest. So, which sucks that you have to be quiet about it, because then that makes the stigma even worse because people don't talk about it. So that sucks that I would recommend that, but I kind of think that that makes sense. Are you reading anything now? Yes, I was reading this book on the papacy. I read the first section of it. It's like written by a Catholic who doesn't agree with a lot of Catholicism. So I'm not going to recommend that book, but I did read it, and I think it's like, I've gotten to a point where I can like feel when an author is being biased, so I can like read someone who I disagree with and like glean details from it. And so I think that was an important part of the book. I'm reading this book on RCIA in the early church, so I don't know if I'm going to make that into a video, but I just find the topic interesting. Mary is the perfect Christian. She brought Jesus into the world. Yep. Why in Matthew 4 is the devil tempting Jesus, and on James says no one can tempt God? I think they're talking about God the Father, or they could be talking about how no one could like successfully tempt. Hi Lizzie, I watched your video about why faith salvation is wrong, and I totally agree with you, but then I saw this Bible verse and it really confused me. Galatians 3:11. What do you think? So I don't know what that Bible verse is, so can someone Google Galatians 3:11 and put it in the chat log? That would be appreciated. So what's really important is that there's 30,000 different ways to interpret the Bible, okay? So what are we gonna do? Go based upon like how a verse feels, like how we feel that it means a certain way? Or should we go by how the original Christians who were taught by the people who wrote the Bible are interpreting the Bible? So as Protestants, you can read a verse and be like, that seems to be talking about this. That seems to be talking about this. But let's read the early Christians, the earliest Christians, the church fathers. What are they writing about these Bible verses? The church fathers did not believe in faith alone salvation. That was invented in the 1500s. So that's my answer for everything. You have a Divine Mercy image in your room. Will you do a video about Divine Mercy in time for the feast? Oh my gosh, the feast is coming up. When is it? I will screenshot this. Faith plus works equals salvation. Faith plus nothing equals salvation. It is through faith a righteous person has life, is Galatians 3:11. Okay, so I feel like I mentioned this in the video, but the Greek word for faith, pistis, means actions. Faith and actions are intertwined. So it's not faith if there aren't actions that are part of it. So it's not faith alone. Faith is intertwined with actions. And you have to read the Bible as a whole. You can't like pick out one verse. You have to look at how it is with everything. Lizzie, what are your thoughts on the fact that 57% of Catholics support same-sex marriage in the US? So there are a lot of people who identify with Catholicism who are not practicing Catholics. They may have grown up in the faith and like gone to middle school and high school youth group, but they haven't put a lot of thought. I just spit. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they haven't put a lot of thought into the faith as adults. There's a lot of people who are like, yes, I'm Catholic, and it's like a cultural thing. Maybe they'll go to mass on Easter, but they don't like study the church like I did, or like a lot of converts do, or like people who are really passionate about their faith and always have been, and like read a lot of theology and read the catechism and really try to understand it. So there's a lot of people who don't go to mass. Like, if you're not at mass every week, you don't know anything about the church, because you don't realize that it's a mortal sin to not go to mass, and how it's like heartbreaking to God that you don't want to receive the Eucharist. So there's also 60% of Catholics who don't believe in the Eucharist, so I'm sure it's the same percentage who are against or for same-sex marriage. What does the Catholic Church mean by works? So I really recommend you looking up the Council of Trent. The Council of Trent happened after the Protestant Reformation and was the reaction. So if you just Google Council of Trent, faith and works, a document will come up with like text from the council and they go in depth into faith and works. I know that sometimes it can be intimidating thinking of like reading a council, but it's actually not at all. It's so easy to read what councils are talking about, and everything's available for free online to read. So look that up. I even considered in my video when I said faith alone salvation is wrong, I made that video as a Protestant and I like wanted to read quotes from the Council of Trent, but then I'm like, no, that's too Catholic. People are gonna think I'm researching into Catholicism. I'm a recovering cradle Catholic that strives to be better. It's hard as a cradle Catholic because the trad seems like the same old thing without knowing the entire meaning. Am I crazy, or is that comment spelled wrong? What? So that's the Council of Trent, but says about the Council of Mike or the Council of Kayla. In case anyone is knowing that person's being funny, I don't really find it funny, but you begin Divine Mercy Chapel on Good Friday and end Sunday after Easter, which is a feast day. What do you think about the church's relationship to the truth about events like 9/11? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for more comments to answer questions since there's no... Okay, how do I know if I have the calling to become a priest? So I disagree with like calling or yeah, I'm just like not a like human like person to where I think of things very factually and objectively and just like make a choice kind of thing. I'm not the type of person who believes like God has called me to a greater purpose, or like God is leading me to make a YouTube video, or like God put this into place for my YouTube channel to exist. I just do things and make decisions based upon what, I don't know, what like logically fits in the moment. So I'm not the type of person to ask like if God has this plan for you. Does that make sense? I'm just not the person to ask. What is a feast day, and is there actually food? So a feast day just means a holiday. So yes, like we have watered down Catholicism so much. Like during John the Baptist Day, they used to have fireworks, and actually the Orthodox Church still does fireworks on Christmas. So no. John the Baptist Day, they would make bonfires, his feast day. So yes, there used to be feasts and like lots of different food. I know when I'm a mom and I have kids, we're gonna do feast days and have like meals based upon the ethnicity of where the person lived, and like make desserts for saints and really celebrate them and like make it a feast day and make it into a holiday all the time, holidays based upon the saints. So do you believe in God's will then? Yes, I do, but I think that we try to make it too personalized. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong on this, but we live in an individualistic country. So if you talk to people from Africa or from China, they're not going around saying God's plan for my life, God's will for this. They're not going around saying things like that. It's people in Western individualistic countries. So that's my issue. Does that make sense? It's just people are like too personalized about it. Lizzie, have you ever thought a religious life or consecrated single life? So I got into a relationship soon into becoming Catholic, so I've never really had the opportunity to think about it. My boyfriend is a Protestant and I'm Catholic. Any advice? I've made videos called converting your Protestant boyfriend into Catholicism, so look it up, search like Lizzie converting boyfriend, and the video will come up and I talk about that. What do you think of this name for a future male child? Heston Harvey? I don't like it. I'm sorry. I don't like it. The only authorities are Christ, Scripture, Grace, Faith, and God. I disagree. SSPX are like the cooler Catholics. Vatican II sect Catholics are like meh Catholics. That's horrible advice. Do you stay up on the 24th or do you sleep and then wake up on the 25th? I sleep. Are you talking about Christmas? My boyfriend is a Protestant. Oh, we talked about that. I have been told Malta still does fireworks. Lizzie, can you research Saint Sergius and Bacchus? I've been told Malta. Oh, they still do fireworks, the country. Okay. Sarah Quill is kicking in. Good night, Lizzie. Good night, Amy. Sleep well. She's probably already gone, though. A lot of Latin American countries have fireworks for Christmas. Okay, cool. So it's really just America that's watered everything down. Lizzie, have you ever thought... Oh, we already answered that question. This coronavirus sucks. My boyfriend is a Protestant and I'm Catholic. Oh, they asked the question like 5 times, which is good. They kept asking the questions. What books... See, that's how you have to be, guys. You have to repeat your question and repeat your question and repeat your question. Because I'm on my phone, so it only shows 3 comments at a time. So it like goes up and it disappears. Would you ever make content with Matt Frad? We've already collaborated. I was on his podcast, Pins with Aquinas. I've been dating a Mormon and I would advise you guys not to do it. Mormons are not Christians and they hide their teachings. It was a disaster for me. I think you're already carrying out God's purpose and you're content in it. Okay, so this is what I mean about like God's will for your life and everything. So there are multiple ways to serve God with how you live. There are thousands of ways to serve God with how you live. There's not one career. There's not one vocation. There's not one state you should live in. There's not one person you can marry. There's thousands of possibilities. So it's possible to serve God and live out your faith in many, many different ways. Were you always religious? Yes, my entire life. My parents were missionaries in Russia. So from when I was like a month old, we lived in Russia and then we moved back to the States and I lived in Ohio, Indiana, Florida, California. So we moved around a lot and we were always super involved in church. I always remember from like the youngest age, I would read my Bible a lot and pray all the time. So I've always been like super, super, super religious. What do you think about Michael Voris and Church Militant? I think he comes across as extremely hateful and should calm down. What are your thoughts on receiving communion kneeling down? Oh, okay, Michael Voris, actually, I have a huge problem with Michael Voris because he is gay and he blames it on his mom being bipolar, which has so many issues with it because he hates homosexuality. So he thinks that, like, being bipolar ruined him. That his mom was bipolar, which is so messed up. Like, you can be a bipolar parent and be emotionally healthy. You don't make someone gay by being bipolar. So that really rubbed me the wrong way. And after that, I just, like, lost even more respect for him. So I'm not a fan. I would never collaborate with him. But I will say the one thing, it's really funny the way the videos are edited. It's just hilarious. It's really good editing, but he probably doesn't even edit the videos. It's probably someone on his team. Do a collaboration with Gabby After Hours. We are gonna do a collaboration. I reached out. And your relationship with Mary. Do you think it's fair that the Orthodox get tons of compliments from some Catholics, but the SSPX is hated for schism when the Vatican has said they're not in schism? That's interesting that people might have a more positive view of Orthodox than an actual Catholic group. I think it might just be because it was too recent that they split, or that I think one of the reasons people don't like the SSPX and trads in general is because they go around judging everyone else. Like, so prideful. That's how they come across. And people on Twitter, this is what I'm saying. I don't know any SSPX people, but the SSPX people online come across as really, really rude, judgmental towards everyone else. Whereas Orthodox people, I've never had an Orthodox person come across as condescending or rude or, You know what I mean? So, oh, if you just got here, here are my palm branches from Palm Sunday. I wanted to have them in the video, so they're in the thumbnail of the video. By the way, I'm not saying that like all SSPX people are like that, but that's just my like one experience with it is online. So an Emily Wilson collab? Yes, that's actually gonna happen at one point. We've like DM'd back and forth, so I like really want to meet her. So yes, that like eventually will happen. If someone is rude and judgmental, then technically wouldn't be trad, since it's not trad to be rude, basically being the opposite of Jesus. Yeah, that makes sense. Have you ever heard of or watched a speech by Abby Johnson? Yes, I have. She's really, really talented. And I loved her movie that she made. It was really good, Unplanned. I really liked it a lot. What's your view on the Orthodox Church? Beautiful. Sorry, you guys, I'm trying to scroll through comments and it keeps like messing up. Okay. I'm shocked how short American Christmas is. Well, Catholic Christmas is like 2 weeks or something. So in Latin America, our RDD Christmas is like from September to October to like January and February. What? Yeah, American Christmas is like one day. That's true. That's so interesting. I have to go, Lizzie. I love to be here in the live stream. God bless you. God bless you too. Bye. Hi, Lizzie. What are indulgences and the treasury? I'm not a good person to ask about that. Ask someone else. I've been breathless today and have a racing heart. Need prayers. Oh my gosh. Do you think that you have the coronavirus? Any advice on a Catholic YouTube channel? Yes. I recommend Gabby After Hours, Emily Wilson, Ascension Presents, Taylor Marshall, Patrick Coffin. Orthodox are always condescending? Really? I have a lot of Orthodox subscribers, so maybe they're nice to me because like they're my subscribers, so they're my fans or something. But yeah, that's weird. I never knew that. You should get tested and praying for you. No, you shouldn't get tested. So there aren't enough testing kits, so you should only get tested if you've had a fever for an extended period of time. What do you think of Timothy Gordon? I love Timothy Gordon, and you guys actually need to be praying because him and his wife's child just had a really important surgery, and the surgery went really well, but they're recovering. And because of coronavirus, him and Steph have to be separated. They can't be together all the time, so that's like really sad for them because they're always together during like all the medical stuff for their daughter. So, yeah, so be praying for them a lot. Be praying for the Gordons. Are you against drinking? No, Catholics are very pro-drinking. Catholics drink all the time. So I personally don't drink just because alcohol is a depressant. So for people who are bipolar, it like doesn't work well for us. So it like puts me in depression. Brian Holdsworth too, yes. Do you think being bipolar is an impediment to somebody running for public office? Be honest. Yes. Where did Michael Voris, but I will say this, it depends on the person. I could never be president because I don't wake up to my alarms. Some people who are bipolar are on really high dosages of medicines and are like CEOs and doctors and can like do their career really well and wake up to their alarms and take care of themselves. Not that I don't take care of myself, but I could never have an actual job or an actual career. I know I have a career, but like I could never like go to work, but some people do. So you can't make a blanket statement about all bipolar people, but like based on my experience, I don't understand how certain bipolar people can like be CEOs and have such a big career. Like, I don't understand it. I mean, maybe they're in a manic phase constantly, but I'm in a manic phase constantly and I still can't wake up to alarms and stuff. So point blank, do you prefer Novus Ordo or traditional Latin Mass? 100% Novus Ordo. Would you ever collab with Father Mike Schmitz? Yes, I just mentioned Ascension Presents as one of my favorite channels. So yes, stay safe, Lizzie. Thank you. Lizzie, can you research Saint Sergius and Bacchus? In the earliest records of their martyrdom, they're described as Aristais, which means lovers, thoughts. So a lot of people try to look back on the past and say that certain people are gay, but back in the day, people had really, really strong friendships, like different than how we are today. And so like Saint Augustine, some people say had a lover, but it was really just a really close friend, and people tried to over-sexualize things just because we're such a sexual society today. So I think most likely it's just like I said, in the ancient world, they had really, really close friendships. So I wouldn't try to over-sexualize it. I agree on the Novus Ordo with you, Lizzie. Yeah. Oh, the person is traditionalist Anglican is like mad about it. Do you ever attend Eastern Rite Divine Liturgy? Yes, I do. I might become Eastern Catholic in the future. Matt Frad interviewed Michael Voris, and it was very interesting. You should check it out. My friend Nick loves your streams. Can you give him a shout out? His full name is Nick Gurr. Hi, Nick Gurr. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and joining my live streams and supporting my channel. Love you. Thoughts on ECT treatments? Electroconvulsive therapy treatments. So a lot of people give a negative rep to electric convulsive therapy just because in the past they did stuff like that and it was really bad. It's kind of like how originally lithium killed people because they had too high of a dosage. So it's stuff like that where now they've really like perfected the procedure, and it does cause a little bit of memory loss. But I already have so much memory loss from depression, so like what's the difference? You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a really good alternative to people who are not responding well to antidepressant medicine. So I think it's a really positive thing. And like, here's the thing for me. So because I'm in depression all the time, I have memory loss from all the periods that I'm in depression. So it would be a positive thing to try to get rid of constant memory loss. So if you get a little memory loss on the way, I think that's fine. And I know that's crazy, like people who hear about it, like, oh, some memory loss, are like, oh, that's so bad. And it's like, I always have memory loss. I didn't quite know what my question is, but it's something to look into. I have DID and I feel like one part of me really wants to become Catholic, but the rest of me doesn't. Thoughts on it? I would talk to a priest. Novus Ordo is, okay, I have to write everything down. Lizzie, watch conversion story of someone. Are there any Protestants whose content you enjoy? God is Gray. But no, I don't really watch Protestant. Oh, also Girl Defined and Paul and Morgan. So yes, I do watch Protestant channels. Do you speak Spanish? No, I'm horrible at Spanish. Muy horrible. You look sick. Have you checked out? Take care. Thank you for the donation. I know my priest has told me that I can have a friend like a brother and it not be sexual. However, I have to be careful because I have same-sex attraction. I don't blame it on anyone. That sounds good. I feel like the priest gave you a really, really good answer. So many comments coming in. Do you like communion rails? I actually do, because you get to like be closer to the tabernacle and the front of the church and the church art for longer, which I really like. I just like hanging out in front of all the church art and like the tabernacle and the Eucharist up there. So I really like just getting to like kneel down, and it's more communal with everyone there. So yeah, I love altar rails. I don't know why we don't go back to that. It's really cool. Hi, Liz. And you still get your individual moment where they're like the body of Christ. So it's not like the only thing is not getting the wine. really messes with me. So that's really annoying. What do you think about Mr. Atheist? He uses Protestant channels for content, which is just kind of annoying. Like, make your own content. Don't rely on making fun of other people for content. It seems like he can't come up with his own content. Sorry, I said content so many times. LOL, what a combination. God is great, Paul and Morgan, and Girl Divine. Yeah, they all hate each other. I also watched Jacqueline Glenn. Do you celebrate the Three Kings Day on January 6th? I think we do it. Yeah, we totally do at Mass. Okay. I agree, we should go back to communion rails. Why did we ever stop doing communion rails? Was it because of Vatican II? I don't understand how Vatican II affected communion rails. I'm heading off. Love you always. Love you too. Have a good night. I did not know there are bipolar CEOs and doctors. I feel my bipolar is limiting because it impedes my dream of serving in the military. Also, are they openly bipolar? Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like the articles I've read are people who are not open about it. They don't talk about it, or they feel like there'd be a lot of stigma. I think there's a theological problem with the Novus Ordo. Well, you're wrong because church authority disagrees with you. Lizzie, have you ever done wall rock climbing? Yes! Oh my gosh, I'm so passionate about rock climbing and bouldering. Bouldering is my favorite. So it's inside a gym. I got so excited. Oh my gosh, we should go rock climbing together. Are there places in New Jersey? So bouldering, it's like not as high. It's probably like the height of a ceiling. So you climb up and then you jump down onto the mat. And I love like jumping onto the mat and being like that, like laying out spread eagle. It's so freaking fun. And so I like bouldering way more than rock climbing. Rock climbing is like super high up with a harness, which I'm afraid of heights. I mean, I've kind of gotten over it. I decided in college to get over being afraid of heights. So Lizzie, why isn't instinction used more? What does that mean? Hey, Lizzie. Hi, Vincent. Lizzie, you look good tonight. Problem is I don't drive and grocery stores want you to work nights and weekends. Yeah. Lizzie, you should watch the Holy Week procession in Malaga, Spain. Okay, I'll screenshot this and check it out. Hi, other Vincent. Yeah, I don't understand the instinction thing. Okay. I just watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy during quarantine. There were many Catholic themes in it. Bishop Barron also made a video about it. Catholic, yes! So in the Old Testament monarchy, they had a second in command position, and this is the video I'm editing right now. It's gonna go up tonight and then premiere tomorrow night. So there's a second in command position, and in the Lord of the Rings, they also have that second in command position. So to the king, based upon Christianity, which is Catholicism. I just downloaded the Kayla and see that app and been doing workouts on it. Ah, isn't it so fun? I did arms day 2 days ago, and I'm like so sore, like here, like it's so hard. So I'm really in shape, you guys. Like so strong. And so when a workout is painful for me, it's so humbling because I'm like, wow, I thought I was so in shape and apparently I'm not. Vatican II got rid of nothing. It did not introduce liturgical changes. These changes were imposed by people wanting to with God and ask for forgiveness of sin. Yes. But you should watch my video talking about confession if you think you're an open-minded person and humble. If you think you're those things, then I recommend watching my video on confession. So YouTube search Lizzie's Answers confession, and there's one video called My First Confession, but watch the other video. I explain why we go through priests to forgive sins. It's not what you think. So go watch it. Yes, a Catholic can ask for forgiveness from God, obviously. I mean, I didn't even think Catholics were able to pray to God. It was pretty sad. My gym does, Lizzie. Oh, that's so cool. How are you doing with your bipolar disorder? What books do you recommend to better understand bipolar disorder? Oh my gosh, so I recommend Welcome to the Jungle by Hilary Smith. Welcome to the Jungle by Hilary Smith. So good. I used to recommend it, an American thing, because my church in Canada uses them. It depends on the parish in America. In Puerto Rico, we have the children put grass in a box under their beds to the camel of the Three Kings. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Intinction, is when the body is dipped into the blood and given to the communicant on the tongue. Oh, I really, really like that. You should do Streamlab donations next stream. What is that? Lizzie, watching Breaking in the Habit, good content. Vatican II. Communion rails are placed in front of the altar so that when you receive communion, you kneel on the rail and wait for the priest to approach you and receive communion. Thank you for explaining that to whoever was asking the question about that. Okay, guys, so I want to go soon just because I need to finish putting music in my video. I only have music in the first 5 minutes and it's 35 minutes, so we have to put music in the rest of the video, and then I have to do audio testing, and audio testing literally takes so long because I usually edit with my headphones, then I have to take my headphones off and like watch it through, then I export it, then I have to make sure it sounds okay. So yeah, audio testing takes me literally forever. But I have to go do that, and then I'm going to upload my video, and it's going to premiere tomorrow night at 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern, so 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific. So I always try to think of Eastern time, because I think everyone is in Eastern time mostly, because people are always like, it's 1 a.m. when it's like 10 a.m.? I mean 10 p.m.? It's like not that late, and people are always like, it's so late. So I always try to think of Eastern time, because I don't know, does the majority of the population live in Eastern time or something? I don't know. Anyways, so I love you guys so much. I will see you in my next video. Love you guys. Bye.